Hello.
Hello and Merry Christmas.
Yes, technically it's Merry Christmas at this time.
Happy holidays.
From
Um
all of us here to all of
Feliz
you out
Navidad.
there.
All of the I wish I
Mm-hmm.
knew more, but as Aubrey says, happy Christmas everyone.
Oh, that's sweet.
She's like, "Mom, what's the word, like the right word?" And I'm like, "Baby, you're saying the right word.
It
Don't you
is the
worry
right
about it."
word. Yes.
So, welcome to Murder with My Sister. I am Lisa.
I'm Marie.
And we are bringing you a whopper of a story this week.
So
It's
it's kind of my story. I
it
kind of
is.
love the historical things.
Okay.
I know that so one of our sources, or one of my sources, is the novel by Eric Larson. He wrote a book. He wrote many books, but he wrote a book
Mhm.
called Devil in the White City.
I
Um
read it.
I fucking love that book. It is
It
not
was
a hard read for me at
I thought it
all.
was a very hard read for me. Like I was like, "Okay, let's sit down and do some homework." Like that's how I felt. Like I was sitting down to do homework.
No, I don't know. I love reading the historical stuff, and I remember the first time that I read it, I could literally see the arch on Root Street in the stockyards that we rode our bicycles
Mhm.
under when we were kids, and
Mhm.
I was like, "Oh, I know where this is. Oh, I know where that is. Oh, I can't believe," like it was so straight. And then that book made me reread The Jungle by Upton Sinclair,
Do you know
which is
I
like a
never read that one?
classic.
I know I never read that one.
It's disturbing.
Oh, okay, then
It's
I'll
so
definitely
disturbing.
read it. I
It's
didn't know it
very
was disturbing.
historical. It is so
Love it.
disturbing in terms of like what the conditions were for people back in the day. I can't. I
Okay,
can't
can
even.
I tell you your sister, the cosmetologist
Mhm.
who dabbles in all of the fields?
Mhm.
I always thought if I was ever gonna hone my craft and go back to
Yeah.
school for something, so,
Yeah.
like, let me rephrase that, go back to school again for something again, it would be history. And then
Mhm.
as I'm like looking into our stories and the stuff that we do, I
Mhm.
realized I'm not really interested in history. I'm interested in colorful history. Like
Okay.
I don't know that I want to know the facts of
Mhm.
how like a clay bowl was made or who used it and when. I think I'm more interested in the affair that Cleopatra might have had with somebody else. Like I don't want dry history.
You
I
want
want
salacious
wet.
history.
Wet, dripping, salacious history.
All
Maybe
right.
I'm the one who wants all of the stuff where they're like, "Well, we don't have any facts on that." Give it to me. Give me I don't need facts. I don't need silly old facts. You don't need
So
to worry
I
about
will
verifying sources with me.
right. I will
Mhm.
preface this particular story with I watched some documentaries. There aren't many. They're not good, unfortunately. One was
Ooh.
called a 2018 documentary called Original Evil Prime. I think it was on YouTube or something.
Mhm.
And I don't mean that they're not good in terms of like the person isn't doing a good job or whatever. They're
Uh-huh.
very they're not commercial. So
Mhm.
they're you really have to be invested in knowing the
I was
story
invested.
to kind of see past some of it. But
Okay.
I thought go
Let
ahead.
me state my sources really quick. So
Okay.
I did you know what? We didn't even say what we were talking about yet.
Do you want to say it?
So we are going to discuss, since you said you're devil,
Mhm.
the history of Holmes,
Yes.
America's first serial killer. And
I
my sources for this story are
Mhm.
the Holmes, America's First Serial Killer 2004 documentary by John Borowski, Morbid Podcast, episode 457. Actually, I didn't listen to 458. I didn't get that far.
Mhm.
Wikipedia page, World Columbian Exposition, and another Wikipedia page, Holmes.
Um I might be wrong. It's very possible cuz I'm wrong all the time. But
Hmm.
I challenge
Okay.
that he was the first serial killer cuz I feel like there might
They
be
say
some that we don't
America's.
I feel like there might
Well,
be some out there that we just
here's
are not
I
as
mean,
popular maybe,
do we
but
wanna do you wanna go somewhere dark with me real quick?
okay, go.
Well, so the World's Fair, the
Mhm,
Columbian Expedition
mhm.
or Exposition was a
Exposition, mhm,
celebration of Columbus's discovery of America.
which
Mightn't
is
mightn't some of us say that
mm,
might have been a serial killer?
you think the
Because
genocide and elimination of natural
he
inhabitants?
he discovered something that had already had natives on it. Like, it
Yeah,
was not discovered if somebody's already been living here for hundreds of years. Well,
yeah.
you simply visited. You visited. You
You s
discovered you're a visitor.
I'm pretty sure
So
he literally stumbled upon it, like,
so mightn't
but
he have been
the first serial killer?
I don't know. It's different.
Um,
It's different. I had a whole blurb on that, and I was like, "You know what? That's gonna need respect, number 1,
mhm,
respect, and also number 2, far more than I have to offer that history right now."
I hear you. Um, so Eric Larson,
Yep.
when he wrote this book,
Tell me about it.
the back part, the credits, the whatever, this man worked on this story for years.
Uh-huh.
Like he put in the research. So
Mhm.
while I know that the story, as he says it, has some embellishment
Mhm.
and additives, if you would, and descriptors to make it a novel and make it like
Colorful.
appealing to all of us
Wet.
who like to read that stuff. Yes, wet. Um,
Mhm.
I
Something you
do
could sink your
believe,
teeth in.
yeah, just based on reading his sources, that
Uh-huh.
a lot of what I'm going to tell you from his book in terms of the story, the timeline, the events, I think is pretty what's the word? Like he
I don't know.
it's
I
it's it's real.
I
It's
okay.
it's
I was invested in this story. I did more research on this story because I didn't know a whole lot. I knew what I like. What do we
mhm,
everybody knows H. Holmes, right? Everybody
mhm,
knows what they think they know,
mhm.
that
Oh,
he
it's
was
bigger.
a serial killer in Chicago, that he had
Mhm,
his murder castle. I feel like we all know the surface level stuff. And then
mhm,
when I started scratching the surface and actually looking into it and then spending like time on it, I was like, all right, let's fucking do this. And I watched the documentary. Okay, I already named it and I feel bad saying this. It wasn't very good. But it wasn't very good, not because it was like not salacious, it was just, like, so repetitive.
mm,
I heard more than a dozen times about the stairs that went nowhere and
mhm.
and I'm like, "Oh my god, I fucking get it
We
already.
all know that
There's a
part of it.
fucking staircase that went into a goddamn wall.
Yeah,
Can you fill this 90 minutes," or sorry, I think it was 104 minutes, "with something other than that?" And then
yeah.
I'll talk about it more later on, but, like, the narrator
Mhm,
had this really adorable way of saying, I say that with such condensation, of referring to, like, the castle, and the castle looked out with eyes that were emptying, the castle this, and I'm like,
hmm.
"Dude, are you in love with like, him and you're trying to make an excuse
Ew.
for" like, it's almost like he was saying it like the building was alive and the building was doing the work, and Holmes was just its
Mhm,
turnkey.
mhm,
And I'm like, "No, no,
mm-mm.
no,
No, no, no.
no,
Okay.
no."
So the other thing we did not
So
like about this story is because it's a historical story, it's like
uh-huh.
Jack the Ripper, where all we talk about is the perpetrator and his life and how he
Girl,
grew up and his
girl.
all his stuff. There's there is it's hard to find, but there's not a lot on the
Mhm,
victims themselves, which we don't like. We want to know more about the people who get
mhm,
forgotten in all this bullshit.
mhm.
So this is why
Yes.
I like Eric Larson's book as part of the way of telling a little bit about these people because he really did work hard to tell their stories.
I am glad you brought that up because it's one of the things when I said, when I think every podcast that we do, I say, it's okay, we're trying to do better. It's okay, we are doing better. And
Mm,
I think this is a really great example of the sensationalism that we gave
mhm,
the criminal
mhm,
and the way that the victims were forgotten or simply
mhm.
just not acknowledged. Like, who were they?
Not
They
even, yeah,
Yeah, like, oh, they weren't
nameless.
just a name on a registrar.
Mhm,
They were somebody's loved one, somebody's
mhm,
niece or uncle or
mhm.
daughter or mother. So I'm glad you brought that up because that is one of the things that going back and looking at this, I'm like, that's a stark reminder of where we started when it came to serial killers and
Mhm.
where we ended. Although, if I might say
Although
this, Jack the Ripper
mhm.
was right around the same time, and they did a pretty decent job of including information about his victims. So is it just that America wasn't doing a great job and maybe
Maybe.
our friends across the pond were like,
You know
"Hey,
what I think?
tell me."
I think that the reason that they knew or talked so much about Jack the Ripper's victims is because they never knew who he was. So they
Heard.
couldn't talk about him.
Fucking
He was
heard.
this fictional something. All they had
God
were the
damn it.
victims.
That's it. My sis just solved it.
So
God damn it.
this is
Right
what
here.
the FBI people are always talking about is the victimology will sometimes tell you who the killer was, right? You gotta
Mhm.
know who the victims were.
God, you're such a learned soul.
I read some shit.
Just your fucking brain is so big and
So
juicy.
I have a little bit about him. I'm gonna
Tell
say
me. Tell me everything.
half a page. I'm gonna say half a page.
Oh,
My
I feel like there's
document
more than that on this
no.
motherfucker. Okay,
And my document is
let's get
9
into it.
pages long. Okay.
Excuse me, hour.
Hour.
All
Okay.
that purple is mine.
There's a lot of purple in there.
I know. I did my own report for the first time in months. And then I was like, well, let me go ahead and merge these two motherfuckers together. And then I started reading yours and I'm like, oh God, we're on different pages.
Yeah,
That's all
don't
right.
fuck up my timeline.
I was
All
like,
right.
I didn't like your timeline. I wasn't in love
Look,
with it.
shut up.
Go,
All right, listen. So
go.
H. Holmes' given name was
Mm.
Herman Webster Mudgett. Can you think of more of a
Boring.
drip name?
No,
Okay.
he was a total fucking dud.
Yeah.
And he knew it. Probably
Yeah.
when he was like, "What the fuck, Herman?"
Herman.
Okay.
He was born in Gilmanton, New
Sure.
Hampshire,
Perfect.
May 16th, 1861.
Great.
The Civil War just started April 12th, 1861. He was born like a month later. Is that
The
nuts?
Civil
That's
No,
nuts.
but can I tell you the Civil War is like something that maybe it's just because 'cause I'm older, it seems like it should seem further away than
And it's not
1861.
that far away.
Well, I mean, kids nowadays are like, "Jesus Christ, did you guys even have pen and paper back then?" Which is how I thought of it, and now that I'm getting older, I'm like, 1861's not that long
It
ago."
wasn't that long ago.
Okay.
His parents were the children. So his parents were the first generation born in America. His grandparents were English settlers.
Mhm,
They had 5 children. Herman was
mhm,
the middle child. Fucking
mhm.
middle child.
That's what I said, fucking middle child syndrome.
Fucking middle
We just
child.
nailed it when everybody's like, "Oh my god, what a narcissist," and I'm like, "No, he was a middle child syndrome.
Hmm.
He couldn't even get
He
over
had
himself."
he had an older brother and sister, and then he had a younger brother and sister. So
Oh
he's
my god, so
smack
he
dab
was
in the middle.
fucked both ways. Just they're like, "No matter what sex you are, you're just in the middle of all of
Yeah.
us, you sucky individual." Oh,
They
poor
say they
Hermie.
were devout Methodists, and there was no evidence of any abuse in the family.
Because why? We always look to see if there's abuse. So how did this start? How did he become who he became?
Nurture versus nature, right?
I don't actually know what that means.
It
I don't wanna know
means
I don't wanna know right
okay.
now. Okay.
He married Clara
Mansplaining to me. Oh,
Loving
what
or
a great
Lovering.
name. Either one is fine.
In
Loving.
1878, he had a
Mhm.
son, Robert, with her in 1880. Robert, it says, grew up to be an accountant and a city manager in Orlando, Florida, and was a perfectly normal guy.
How could we know that? And also, like,
I mean,
so
he just didn't kill anybody, I guess.
right, but, like, do you remember back in 1880? Do you remember that?
Oh, yeah, I remember.
So, remember how they didn't have, like, the internet or,
No.
like, they didn't even share information from one county to another?
Mhm.
My thing is, like, did he change his name or did he keep his name? Because like,
Or
what
back
was it
then,
Mudgett? Mudgett, nobody knew Mudgett. Only
yeah,
everybody
Mudgett.
ever knew ate
Or
Holmes.
he might have been raised under his mom's name since they had, like,
He
barely a marriage kind of a
he
situation.
would have only been 100 in 1980.
I mean,
How's that for fucking
how's
girls in
that?
STEM? That's my mathing. That was
There it
mental
is.
math.
They
Fuck
say
all you
he
bitches.
studied, quote, "studied under a town doctor and at 18 was accepted to university in Vermont, but he only lasted a year at the university."
Okay.
Then
You
in
know, I say again,
18
college isn't for everybody.
I hear ya. Then in 1882, he enrolled in the University of Michigan in the medical department, and they say he graduated in 1884. I don't know what with.
And I say, I challenge this.
Maybe?
I'm just saying. Also, I'm gonna pop in here with my question. Okay,
Mhm.
because I saw a lot of this when I'm doing the research that he
Stole.
stole
Mhm.
some persons from their final resting places. So when somebody dies, it's a dead body. But if
Mhm.
they're donated, I
Donated.
can't say it,
Mhm.
to medical research, they're called
Mhm.
cadavers. Why do we do this?
They're always cadavers.
Oh, it's not
Ca
so as soon as I die, I'm a cadaver?
Correct.
I've never heard anyone say that. I
I don't
challenge
refer
that
to
as
people
well.
that way. I mean,
You say it's dead Lisa.
the deceased,
There it
that's what
is.
the
So,
deceased is
I
what I
feel like
hear.
I've only ever heard people call cadavers when it refers to medical.
I would agree with that. I feel like
Okay.
I've only ever heard it in school
I just
too.
didn't know if it was like a disassociation of what you're actually doing.
Maybe,
But that's okay.
maybe.
Alright, I'm just curious.
Supposedly he used cadavers to defraud insurance companies.
Mm.
Like he would, I don't know, he would say someone died who didn't die and then produce like, a body that he stole from somewhere and be like, that's that guy, and then collect insurance money. I don't fucking know.
I mean,
In
okay,
18,
can we just I'm gonna just say this and be the bad guy. It's not that bad of a scheme. Like, if they're I'm
in the
what
long run,
in listen, if
no
they're
one's getting hurt.
already no, if they're already
They're
gone,
already gone.
it's like, if you're talking about I don't wanna say victimless crime because it's totally not, but,
Uh-huh.
like, okay, it's not the worst thing I've ever heard anybody do.
I hear you.
Okay, he didn't start off horrible. He just got
The
there real fast.
The stuff that I read says that in 1884, the same year he graduated, Clara
Mhm.
left him and moved back to New Hampshire
Bye.
because he was violent.
Mm, and there it is.
That's all we got.
Yeah, and that's all you need. You
Yeah.
can't just beat up women.
No.
Sorry.
It was it
Not
was
sorry.
not really,
Okay.
no one gave a shit back then.
Alright, Clara, go ahead and get out of there.
Herman then moved to Moores Forks, New York.
Great place,
Never heard of
Morse.
that.
It's fine,
And
it's
there
great.
were rumors that when he moved there, he had a little boy with him who mysteriously was then no longer seen. Herman said that the boy went back to his parents. I don't think anyone's ever identified who this child might have been. There was never a body, no investigation, and then he fled the town soon after. People started
Okay.
asking.
I feel like that's not the first time we'll have heard of him
No.
traveling with children.
Yes.
You fucking creep.
Then he goes to Philadelphia. He gets a
Mhm.
job as they put it, a keeper at a state hospital,
Okay.
but only lasted a few days and resigned. Then he gets a job at a drugstore, and
Mm,
shortly after, a little boy dies after getting drugs from the store. He was accused, but they had no evidence. He flees again to Chicago. And at that point is when he starts going by Henry Howard Holmes, H. Holmes. He arrives in Chicago in 1886.
and now this is before the World's Fair. This
Yes,
is
because the
7
World's
years.
Fair, yeah, the World's Fair,
Okay, it's 1893.
yes.
Look at me.
So they're doing their thing.
They're probably in works for it.
No, I feel like they were planning it, like, people were trying to get, they were doing, like, applications, "No, I want it here. No, I want it
Mhm,
here," with all the
mhm.
different cities and stuff.
Okay.
But in the book, in Devil in the White City, it's very, part of the story is the time crunch that they're under to build this World's Fair because everything gets decided at such a late date.
I feel like I remember that. Continue. I feel like I remember
So
that.
he lands in Chicago. There's a drugstore on the south side of the city near where he eventually buys land to build this hotel. And it's owned by a person called, her name is Elizabeth Holton.
Now, can I pause you here? I
Mhm.
I did read that and I don't know if this is in your story, contrary to what everybody thought, he did not kill her and take her
So,
drugstore, but
her
the plot of land that he bought was directly across the street. So that 30
correct.
or I'm sorry, 63rd and
Wallace.
Wallace
Mhm.
area
Mhm.
was right near where this drugstore was, and also how fortuitous that would have been before, if you're saying what you're saying is true or fact,
Mhm.
it would have been before the fair was even thought to be there,
Correct.
and that would have been walking distance to the fairgrounds.
Correct.
Okay.
So, everything I read said that Elizabeth Holton's husband owned this drugstore and he was elderly or ill and she couldn't do it by herself and take care of him.
Okay.
So she hires H. Holmes cuz he's a
Mhm.
quote unquote doctor
He was a doctor,
to
of
run the
chemistry.
drugstore.
Yep.
Um he can in Devil in the White City they describe how he kind of convinced the old lady to let him have the job and take care of the thing like
Not the old lady.
he's a con man, Elizabeth.
The old lady.
Yeah.
Alright.
Um, they say, like, her husband died, and then little by little, he kind of took over the drugstore and eventually kills her and told everyone who asked that she had gone to visit family in another state.
That was
However,
his favorite line.
yes.
Like, he
And
loved
back then,
telling
how would
people,
you know?
how could you know they didn't even have
Do you have
fucking telephones?
do you have any idea how hard it would have been for me to prove that you weren't in that
Yes.
state? It's
Girl,
nuts.
I would send a letter and it would take 18 months to get to you. And at
100%.
that point, you're already gone, and they're like, "Welp, she went
There it
back to
is.
live with her family."
There it is.
Fucking
So
Christ.
there is a paper trail that the Holtons, both of them, lived well into the 1900s and
Mm,
eventually died in Inglewood.
okay,
He didn't kill them. So
okay.
whatever. So he meets
It's
I'm going to call
whatever.
her so whatever. So he meets Marta, I'm going to call her Marta. It's Myrta.
I think
Marta.
it's Murda, but okay.
Murda?
I think Murda.
All right. Murda Belknap. I'm going
Mm,
to make the K silent.
I
Okay.
love that for us.
Okay, Belknap.
Mhm.
He first met her in 1886. She
Also, can
was
I just
from
say Ks are often silent?
That's why I'm
We
doing
don't
that.
say "kno." We say "no." So I
Touche.
respect that you kept the
Touche.
K silent.
There it is. Oh, all right. So
Okay.
Marta?
Yep.
Is that what we're going with?
Murda. We're going with Murda.
Murda.
Let it
Murda was
happen.
from Minneapolis.
Mm.
She had lived with her
Twin
parents and
Cities.
clerked in a music store. He courted her. I think that just means like he wrote romantic letters to her.
I'll
And
bet he was a
eventually,
great romantic letter writer. Like, with
from
all that
everything that
chemistry
I keep
knowledge, and he was like, "I'm gonna touch this cadaver hand and think of you, my
Mm.
love, my murder." Mhm.
From everything that the way they describe him, he sounds like the consummate fucking cult leader, charismatic, crazy person.
Can I say everything that I've read about him says that he was a charismatic
Mhm.
and handsome man. And
Mm,
and what do we know about our serial killers?
mm.
Oftentimes,
Ted Bundy.
they are described as handsome and charismatic.
The only one I don't get is Manson. He looks like a fucking crazy person all the time.
Wait, he does,
Everything
but
I've ever seen.
everybody says that he captures people.
I know, and I could just be, like, sitting there, and I'm
And he's
watching
just
this
like a
man
little
talk, and I'm
dude.
like, "Get the fuck out of here.
Yeah.
Get this fucking guy out of here." But
Oh
whatever.
God, let's
We
talk about him
digress.
someday.
Okay. He eventually, gets her to come to Chicago, and
Come
they're
here.
married.
Mhm.
Yes. They're married, January 28th, 1887.
Mm.
However,
Home?
he was still legally married to Clara
Doesn't
because
even
he never
matter.
divorced her.
You don't even need to be divorced in the
Mm,
1880s. You're fine. You're only married in the state that you're married in, don't you
that's
know?
true.
Okay.
That's what Phoebe said. You're only married in Vegas.
He's fine because he's married to Miss Murda in Chicago, so we're all good.
Yes. By spring of 1888,
Mhm.
Murda?
Murda!
Mur
Just let it happen.
I don't know
Fucking
why
say it
it's so
however you
hard.
why you wanna say it, Marta?
I don't know, Murda. Murda is
Change it to
expecting.
MUR. Murda.
So they describe how Murda is in the drugstore helping him run the drugstore, right? And these young women from the neighborhood
Oh,
are
dear.
coming into the store to get their drugs and whatever, and they have to see Dr. Holmes. They need a
I'll bet they do.
consultation with
I'll
Dr.
bet they
Holmes.
do. I get it.
So Murda is like, "Bitch, get the fuck out of here. Go find your own goddamn husband,"
Do
kind
you
of
see my
situation.
fucking child growing in my belly, you little
Hello?
bitches? Go ahead, Murda.
So
Fucking stomp on
Holmes,
them.
like, scoots her upstairs to the
Yeah, I did.
office
Sure
to do
did.
the books
Murda, sit
and get her
down.
out of the way.
Get
And
Murda, sit down.
it's funny because in the book, Eric Larson describes her as an iceberg, that
Oh, no.
she needs to be, like, maneuvered around or something like an iceberg.
Are they referring to her size or just her
I'm just saying.
presence? Oh,
Okay.
Murda.
Eventually, Murda's parents come to Illinois from
Mhm.
Minneapolis. They
Okay.
move to Wilmette,
Fancy.
and at that point, she's, like, big pregnant. She's not having it. She's feeling all kinds
It's
of
called
ways.
full term.
Anyway, so she decides to go stay with her parents in Wilmette,
Yeah.
and now
He's
Holmes is,
alone.
like, the perfect husband. He's not coming to see her often, but when he does, he's bringing gifts, he's bringing
Okay.
money, he showers her with attention,
Can I
but I think
ask?
he's loving that she's not
Isn't
there.
like, and I only say this because I don't know Northern Illinois. Like, you would think as a South Sider, that, like, traveling north is a foreign country to me. Wilmette, I think, is a well-to-do area, is it not?
Mhm. It is
It
now,
was
I
it
don't know what it was
Okay, I
back
was just gonna
then.
ask that. Do we know if it was well-to-do then?
I have to assume
Their
that's why he
trees are
latched on to
so
her.
tall.
Oh,
I
I
feel
feel I feel
if
like
you
the
had
only
those
reason
tall
stunning trees.
trees
I
big.
feel like the only reason that he latched onto people was to get what he could get from
It
them,
was
so if they had any
financial.
kind of money.
This fucking guy, I'm gonna save it. I'm not gonna fucking do it now and ruin your story,
Hmm.
but it was all financial.
Oh, yeah,
No, we'll save it. I'm gonna shut my
I'm
fucking mouth. Go.
100%.
Go.
Okay.
I'm gonna shut my mouth in this podcast, not say anything. Everybody's like,
So
"Yeah, right, Lisa."
she stays with her family in Wilmette. He
Mm.
comes around once in a while, and it was around this time, that summer of 1888, that he bought the land to build the quote unquote hotel.
The castle.
He registered it under a false name from the get go. He registered under the false name H.S. Campbell.
Like Campbell's soup?
I guess so.
Mm.
No architect. He designed it all himself. Shocking.
Okay.
No permits per se.
Did they even have permits back then?
They kind of did. They kind of had a little bit of something, but
Okay,
not
let's
anything crazy.
let's first of all, let's just step on the fact that this guy was a extreme narcissist, okay?
Mhm.
Everything that I read and or followed up on, he was a rusher through the medical school. He was like, basically, I'm coming to give you guys my presence, but I don't really need to be here. So I don't need to know all this. I already know all this. Just give me my degree so I can go. And now he's saying that also I don't need an architect. I'm gonna be an architect. But
Mhm.
okay. Designed it
So,
himself. I'm
he
gonna save
designed it
this.
himself. He never hired an architect, blah blah blah.
Mhm.
This is how he would do it.
Mhm.
He would hire laborers, masonry workers,
Mhm.
carpenters, whoever.
Mhm.
They would do the work a
Mhm.
week or two.
Yep.
finish whatever task he had asked them to do. And then Holmes would go through and be like, "Oh, you did this wrong. You didn't do this right. Oh, this is shoddy."
Mhm.
And refuse to pay them. And then he would hire another set of people, and he would hire another set of people, and on
So
and on and on it went.
we also have to remember at this time, this is the 1880s. The fair
Mhm.
is around the corner.
Mhm.
Chicago is booming. There
Mhm.
was no shortage of people that were in need of work.
Mhm.
We had our immigrants coming from all areas. So
Mhm.
when we look at that and we're like, how could you keep doing that? It would have been so
So
easy
easy.
for him to hire a group
Mhm.
of 10 people who could do this, and then a couple weeks later 10 more, because I did in the documentary that I was watching, I was like, if I hear one more time about a goddamn door that didn't go anywhere, and I'm like, at some point, I was like, a construction worker had to be like, "Hey, bro, did you know that this door opens into a solid fucking brick wall? That doesn't
Mhm.
seem right to me." And he's like,
Fired
"Shut up."
'em.
Yeah, shut up. It's just one of those things where I'm like, of course he didn't have to. He would just fire them and hire someone else.
And then the next person didn't know where the last person left off,
Left
so there's
off.
your little hallway that goes nowhere or your murder room or whatever
Yeah,
the fuck.
and they're
It
like,
was
"Hey,
so
this
easy.
doesn't make sense. Can I see the blueprints?" And then he would, like, slap him in the face with a mustache, and he would be like, Shut up. We don't need any blueprints here. Didn't you know that I'm almost an architect? And also I have a medical degree. Do you know
Sure.
what chemistry is? Okay. Shut up and put that brick in where I tell you to put it."
So they interviewed some of the workers after all this
Sure
occurred,
they
right?
did.
There was a bricklayer who told them that Holmes offered him $50. I don't know what that's like in today's money, but I feel like it's a lot of money.
I'm gonna go there.
$50 to drop a brick on the head of a man who was working in the cellar at the time, like below them. And he says that Holmes told him, "The guy down there is my brother-in-law, and we hate each other." Something like, "I have no love for him, and he has no love for me. And it would just make my world easier if you would just drop a brick on his head and blah, 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 and I'll give you $50."
Drop a brick on his head. So $50 in 1889 would have roughly been around $1,760 today to maybe
Goddamn.
1,900. That's not a lot. That's not a lot to drop a brick on someone's head. Well, only
I'm
because
just
now I'd
saying.
be like, are you familiar with, like, no, there's too many things. All right, Holmes.
This
God
is
damn it,
where
Herman.
Holmes
Is it Herman?
Herman.
Hermy.
This is where Herman meets some key players.
Oh.
Charles Chappell or Chappell, who
Oh,
is a machinist.
I feel like it's Chapel, but I think we need to
Chappell.
go Chappelle. No, we need to
Chappell.
butcher it. Chappelle.
Chappell. Patrick Quinlan,
Mhm.
who was like a laborer, because they
Mhm.
say later on that he was the guy that he would always call him to help
Mhm.
him move the trunks that likely contained dead people.
Oh, no.
And Benjamin, I'm gonna go Peitzel.
Sure.
Peitzel.
I would have butchered it and said Pitzel.
Pitzel, who was a carpenter and his, like, evildoer.
Okay, can I
Okay.
pause you for 1
Sure.
second?
Yeah.
Is this Quinlan confirmed that he lived at 47th and Morgan?
That's what the book said. He lived at
Folks,
47th and Morgan, and it was
ladies,
called Inglewood at that time.
ladies and gentlemen, and
Mm,
everyone in between,
mhm. Go ahead.
we lived at 47th and Morgan.
Right on the money.
Do you know when Fran had our house, what do they call that, appraised for, like, the
Mhm.
100th time to get a home equity loan?
Sure.
She had told me, she's like, "Yeah, the guy came in and it was, like, so impressed with the walls because he's like, 'Oh my god, are these plaster walls?'" And I'm like,
Yeah.
at the time, I was like, "I'm 12. I don't know what you're talking about right now."
It was all behind a bunch of,
Wood.
um, paneling because the
Right.
plaster had crumbled, but yeah.
She
Could
was
you hear you
impressed.
don't remember that when you knocked on the
Knock
wall,
on
you
the
could
wood and
hear
it
it
crumble.
crumbling?
Yes.
It was the plaster was
So, but
crumbling.
I say this because I feel like that house on 47th and Morgan, wasn't it
Mm.
built in, like, the 1800s?
$1875.
Okay. Okay.
And the basement that we
Okay.
knew, it
Okay.
was not like that when it was built, it was probably
Hello,
dirt.
I told you that was a fucking dugout goddamn basement with fucking that I lived in. Oh, basement, Lisa.
Oh,
Let's go.
So, Pitzel
Mhm.
was married to a woman named Carrie. Her maiden name was Canning. They had a bunch of kids.
Get those kids.
Among the children were Alice,
Mhm.
Nellie, and Howard.
Great.
And this will be important later.
Okay.
The district attorney, after all this again transpired,
Mhm.
called Pitzel Holmes's tool,
Ew.
comma, his creature.
Ugh.
So bad things happen to this man, but don't be feeling too sorry for him.
I
Feel
don't
sorry
feel
for his
sorry for
family.
anybody. Okay, fine.
Okay.
Sure. Yeah.
Jack the Ripper
Yes, he
started
did.
killing.
Uh-huh.
August 1988 was his first victim, and this was around the exact same time that Holmes began building the hotel. There were always people out there talking about how Holmes left here, went across the ocean, he was actually Jack the Ripper, and then came back here and da da da. But it doesn't line up because he was here building this hotel at that time.
I was just gonna say the same thing. I'm like, wait a minute. I thought I did this timeline and I thought that they did not line up either, but my
Mm-hmm.
notes could be further down. So
Mm-mm,
I'm gonna
maybe
let you I don't think he could be Jack the Ripper. Also, the MOs are quite different.
quite different.
Okay.
100%.
Thank you.
Myrta's uncle
Very good.
visited at one point, and Holmes pressured him, of course, to give him a loan, to give him money, blah, blah, blah.
You think he wrapped his mustache around his neck and he's like, "Give me that
Probably so.
goddamn money."
Probably so. The uncle eventually gives in, gives him the loan, whatever the hell. And then there was a day that Holmes invited the uncle to come see the castle, come see the hotel, come see
The
what we're doing, come see the
fucking castle.
construction, the
Uh-huh.
castle. Holmes kept trying to get the uncle to go up to the roof
Yeah, he
and
did.
see, oh, the
'Cause he's a
fair is over
crazy
here, blah, blah, blah,
motherfucker.
right?
Wait,
They
not
were
in
like,
1888. Oh, it might have been different. Okay.
They were, like, knocking on his door at night. He was staying in one of the rooms that night, and they were like
Um,
somebody came knocking on the door like, "Oh, we wanna show you something, or can you come?" And he's like the uncle told the investigators later, is like, "I locked my door, I pushed furniture in front of that door, and I didn't open it, and they eventually went away."
I love that for him. Do you know there's no level of paranoia that's too much paranoia for me?
Nope. Nope.
Like, I don't even when people are like, "Oh my god, why would you be so paranoid?" And I'm like, "Fuck you, I love
Mhm.
paranoia." I'll put every piece of furniture I have, and then you can question me later about it and be like, "Oh, who's here to answer
S
those questions?"
Me.
"What?
Hello.
What?" That's right.
So the uncle says later that he, in his heart of hearts, believes
He knew.
Holmes was trying to get him to go up to the roof so he
Yeah,
could push him off,
push him right
or
off.
some other accident, as they
Mm,
call it, so
mm,
he would never
mm,
have to pay
mm,
back the debt.
mm.
The uncle says, "But I did not go because I was afraid of heights."
Good for him. I'm afraid of heights. I respect that. I respect that. So have I think you moved my story.
I put it down here because it fits right here. So you go.
Okay. So I'm now in 1886, August of 1886,
When he
and
arrives. Hmm.
Holmes arrives in Chicago. Now, this is 7 years before the
Hmm.
fair and began to use his pseudonym, H. Holmes. So in 1893, the Chicago World's Fair opened to the public on May 1st, 1893,
Hmm.
and ran to October 31st, 1893. So it was going to run for just a few months. Um, if you look at pictures, men were wearing gigantic bowler hats
Hmm.
and they were having these enormous mustaches. A three-piece suit was really all the rage, and women were still boggled down in horrible fucking giant dresses with horrible giant fucking the shoulder like,
Hmm.
imagine the shoulder pads in Working Girl in 1980, and then multiply that by 6,
With a wasp waist.
and add a collar to it that came clean up to your fucking ears, and that's what women were in.
Yeah, baby.
And then they had those boots that they would have to fucking needle a goddamn hook through that went
Mhm.
all the way up to their fucking knees. And
Mhm.
no one at this time was having quickies. There was no
Probably
such
not.
thing as a quickie. How could you have a quickie with all of the that you're like, okay, let me take off my three-piece suit, get my
I
mustache out of
wanna
the
know
way, throw it over my shoulder.
how did they pee? It
They
took, like, a
didn't.
half an
They
hour to
didn't
get
drink water
undressed.
because it was all dysentery. There
True
was no
story.
water drinking. They didn't even know water was good for you at that point.
True story.
So our Chicago World's Fair, it was held in Jackson Park. So Jackson
Mhm.
Park, I did some looking into this and it was actually like 3 or 4 neighborhoods that are
Mhm.
considered at that time to be the Jackson Park area. It was Chicago's South Side. Um 56th Street would have been the most north point if you look at the picture that I
Okay.
gave you, end of the fair, and then Stony Island would have been the farthest west of that, and then it would have stretched all the way to the lakefront, and
Mhm.
then the 63rd Street would have been the southernmost point.
Okay.
So that would have been where the Ferris wheel was.
Mhm.
At that time, um, there would have been buildings that were where we know them now to be museum campus,
Yeah.
like that kind of thing.
The Museum of Science and
Mhm.
Industry is from the World's Fair.
Right. So the World's Fair is being imagined, and then we have H. Holmes, who is envisioning a world of his own. And this
Mhm.
is when I had read that he had purchased that plot of land at 63rd and Wallace. Again, fortuitously, how could he have known that that would have been the within walking distance of the southernmost point? I read that you could see the Ferris wheel from his third floor
Yeah,
windows.
that's what I'm envisioning.
So, yeah, so great for him, not so great for everyone else, kind of a
True
nightmare for
story.
everybody else.
So in 1887, he
Mhm.
purchases a lot opposite the drugstore
Yes.
where he wants to build this two-story mixed-use building, retail space below, apartments on the second floor. By 1888, he owed money to everybody.
Mhm.
But still, by 1892, he's able to requisition the materials to try to build a third floor. He told investors that he was adding the third floor to be used as a hotel for the upcoming exposition, but the third floor never actually got completed.
Can I ask a question here?
Hmm.
I paused because I was looking at some of the I don't wanna say schematics because 'cause I'm not a schematic-y person, but they're they called it a hotel,
Hmm.
okay? But some of the things that I saw, it looked like it was like there was a room that was
Hmm.
like a sitting room, which way they would have called it back then, and then a bedroom. And I
Hmm.
remember at the time of the Drake story that we did, the Drake Hotel, there were
Yeah.
people that were living in the hotel. So
Yeah.
I'm wondering, like back then, was a hotel not really considered like, did they not have an apartment per se, or was it like kind of like one and the same? Like,
I
I'm
think of
only
them
saying that
like
because I feel like they were apartmenty slash, like, hotel. Maybe a hotel was considered somewhere that you could stay for a month.
that's what I'm thinking. I feel
Okay,
like they were short-term
okay,
rentals
okay.
because I don't think he had anybody who was, like, going and cleaning the rooms and turning over the
Oh,
beds,
so I
right?
hear
Like, they
yeah, no,
lived
no, no, I
there.
heard that he did have maids.
Oh, he did?
I
Okay.
heard that he had some maids because the maids are the ones who were like, "Oh, I heard this screaming that just went on and it just muffled," and
Oh,
but but then I go
I
back to,
know.
like, "Oh, you all yeah, now we all heard the maid." Okay,
Yeah, yeah.
okay.
He bought supplies, from people, he bought furniture, like, all this stuff,
Mhm.
and then he would, like, hide it in various rooms and places, so when the creditors came looking, he would make up some excuse why he couldn't pay them, but they would never be able to find the materials and take them away from him either. The press
Can
I
I
know,
tell
like,
you?
total
Wait,
con man, like,
wait.
people would come looking for their shit, and he would convince them that they were crazy to even ask for what he owed them.
Can I just tell you, like, creditors come looking? That's so crazy to me because, like,
Yeah,
do you remember how Fran would just be like,
yeah.
"Open a credit card and just don't pay for it."
Mhm.
And then what are they gonna come looking for? Like what?
Yeah.
The shirt that
Back
I
then,
bought
they
with that?
actually
Like,
came looking for
yeah,
it.
that's bizarre to me that they're like, "Hey,
Yep,
you're gonna be a creditor. Go look for this stuff.
yep.
Go for it."
the investor or the press reported, like, all of these where he wasn't paying his bills. I think back then that was a thing where if you were not paying your bills or you did something bad,
You could
like,
go
they
to
put you in the
jail.
paper.
Oh, not the paper.
They put you in the
Oh
paper. They
god,
called
not
your
the
shit
paper.
out.
Not
Yeah.
like the patch.
Yes.
The patch fucking
The
called
patch.
everybody out.
And then the investors that he had eventually pulled out.
Mm,
Now, long, long time into the future,
that's what she said.
eventually 1893,
Mhm.
pulled out. Um, there was actually a fire on the third unfinished 3rd floor, and it was found out that Holmes had taken out 4 different insurance policies on the building with 4 different companies.
Of course he did.
Of course he did. Okay, so the building is habitable at
Mhm.
this point. And then they talk about, like, these random people who come to work for him and then they just no one ever sees them again, but nobody questions it.
Yeah.
A waitress disappears from the
Well.
restaurant. No explanation as to why she never shows up for work. A stenographer, which I think is like a secretary back then,
Mhm.
named Jenny Thompson
Mhm.
disappears. A woman named Evelyn Stewart, who either worked in the hotel or stayed at the hotel, disappears. A male physician who
Mhm.
rented an office in the building mysteriously disappears, but we don't know. We wouldn't even know what his name was.
So now correct me if I'm wrong though, with this is one of those buildings where we see this happening more now
Mm-hmm.
and we saw it way back then.
Hmm.
Um it was like almost like it looked like an apartment building, right? But the first floor would have been businesses. And then
Yes.
above that would have been hotels slash
So
apartments.
it said
Eh,
like first floor retail, second
right.
floor
You know,
apartments, third floor hotel.
they're doing that a lot now again.
Yeah.
Like, if you look at near train stations like
Yeah.
Lamont and,
It's the model.
it's the model where they're like, "Let's put businesses in these bottom ones,
Mm-hmm.
and then we'll put apartments in the top." So I feel like we're full circling here, but it's just one of those
I
things where I wanted
agree.
to mention I would be curious myself to know what the people who rented those businesses thought.
Yeah.
Because I can't imagine that they were businesses that were going in and out of there at all, like, every month. I would have thought that they would have had to have been more consistent.
I agree.
Okay,
I agree.
okay.
So relatives and friends of these people send letters because that's the way they communicate, inquiring about their loved ones. And Holmes would either write them back or not, but he always appeared sympathetic but minimally helpful. And even the police weren't investigating anything because they were all tied up in all the wealthy visitors that were coming to Chicago for the fair and the trouble they were having with pickpockets and swindlers and things like that. So their priorities were all on keeping the wealthy people
Mhm,
safe
mhm.
and not actually investigating any of these missing people.
Okay.
Um he used the services of that guy Charles
Fucking
Chappelle
Charles.
to get
Chapel.
rid of bodies. This person, in addition to being a machinist,
Mhm.
knew how to deflesh a body so that he could get the bones and, like, do the thing where the
Yes,
skeleton is hanging and then sell
yes.
it to the medical
So,
schools.
okay, I'm so glad you touched on this because I feel like a lot of the criminal activity surrounding H. Holmes that I
Mhm,
read deferred back to the fact that he did a lot of the stuff that he did was to sell cadavers and or skeletons to medical students.
mhm.
This isn't just him though. This was what
No.
happened at that time because
Mhm,
people didn't know they could donate or people maybe their religious beliefs were such that they just were like, "No, I will not do that."
mhm.
And the medical
I think
industry.
the bodies that they had were, like, unclaimed people or
Mhm.
indigent people
Right.
or prisoners or something, so there was a scarcity of cadavers available to teach the doctors.
Right, but he wasn't Holmes wasn't the only one doing this at the
No, it was, like,
time,
big
many.
business.
So that's one of those things as we get through this story, where are we at now? I just want to say that I'm still saving what I have to say to the end.
Okay.
Okay. Okay.
So, Julia Connor,
Go ahead, Julia.
she and her husband Ned, and
Mhm.
they have a daughter, Pearl,
Oh, I
lived in
remember
the
them.
hotel.
Mhm.
Ned was working at the jewelry counter in the drugstore for H. Holmes. Their marriage was slowly crumbling, and part of it was because Julia was becoming very fond of Dr. Holmes.
She's like, "That mustache is so
Mm,
long.
mm,
Your bowler hat is
mm.
so tall." Did you know that the bowler hat was originally invented in London to help protect the domes of the Englishmen from lower branches, and that was later the model for hard hats that we used in America?
I did not.
I looked up what was the
Excellent.
I looked up what was because as my
The
ADHD
fuck?
sits in, I was like, "You know, what the fuck is going on with the boulder hat?" So I just had to look that up.
Wow.
Thought it was
So,
interesting because it
wow.
resembles a hard hat,
Now that you mention it, I'm like,
right?
I
Yeah,
can see that.
yeah,
Yeah,
and
for sure.
the workers all used them. They're like, "Hey, let's get that boulder hat on." Because I see these
Wow.
pictures. Everything I
They're
looked at, I saw
huge.
all those pictures, and I'm like, "Why the fuck are they all wearing boulder hats? What were they doing?" Like, they're like, "Well, it's I'm off to my work bricklaying and with a big hat."
With a big hat,
It
because
wasn't
it was
gonna do
protecting
anything
their
back
noggin so that the
No!
guy who was dropping the bricks above them on
No!
their
So that's
heads.
a little bit of history for you there.
So, I don't know how this all works because 'cause I'm not a fraud person, I'm not a con man, but
I'll tell you. Lay it
at
on
some
me.
point,
Mhm.
somehow,
Yep.
Holmes gives
Got it.
the drugstore to Ned,
Got it.
and
Yes.
in doing that,
Mm.
Ned is now responsible for all of the collections people's debts.
100%. I left everything to you so
Okay.
that your Duh.
Okay. So
Okay.
then the creditors
Yep.
come a knocking because back then they actually come by and ask for their money.
They said, "Hey, can I see that chair we loaned you?"
And Ned has no fucking idea that he owes people money that he never actually asked for.
Because they didn't have
So
paper.
it just gets worse. Guys, it just gets worse.
Okay.
So eventually,
Mhm.
Ned has had enough of Julia making the googly eyes at Holmes all the time, and he decides he's going to nope out of there. He wants a divorce.
Do
He
you think they
wants his
figured out how to have a
daughter.
quickie?
Maybe.
He's like, "Let me cut a slit in your 3rd layer of your undergarments
I don't
so
even
we don't
know.
have to take your boots off."
Right?
Oh, they left the
He
boots on.
leaves Julia. She's happy as a clam because she doesn't have to deal with Ned anymore. Takes another job at a different jewelry store. He wants Pearl, but he doesn't get custody of her. So Pearl stays with
Oh,
Julia.
no, I know ho I
And so now, because
Yep,
there was some hinky dink on the side,
yeah, they figured it out.
now,
So slitting that yeah,
mm,
3rd corset,
suddenly Julia's not very attractive because she's no longer married and he has to put up with her shit.
she's another iceberg.
Another iceberg he's got to maneuver around.
Fucking icebergs. He's like, "God,
So,
why do these women keep ending up pregnant?" He's a doctor. Hello, you should know how babies are made. Maybe
okay,
he
so
only
this
took chemistry and not biology.
maybe.
Okay.
So this is a bad part.
Oh, no.
November 1891, after all this falls apart with her and
Mhm.
Ned, she tells Holmes she's pregnant.
Okay.
He convinces her that right now, with building the
Oh,
castle and all the other
God.
things, it's not a good time
Mhm.
to have a child. So he's a doctor. He can help her with that and perform an abortion.
He's such a
And
gross man.
he'll take good care of her. Blah blah blah. And then they could get married when all of the things are in place and blah and yeah. So on Christmas Eve, 1891, Julia puts
Because
her
that sounds
daughter.
like the right time to do it.
Yep.
You fucking asshole.
Julia puts her daughter to bed, walks down the hall and then up the stairs to the room that Holmes has gotten ready for the procedure. Basically, she thinks that she's going to go to sleep with this chloroform for a procedure and he kills her. He suffocates her with the chloroform.
Can I just say that so that everybody's on the same page as me, this happened in Go ahead and tell me what year,
Christmas
1891.
Eve, 1891.
Okay, at this point, the World's Fair hadn't even happened.
Mm-mm.
So that's still 2 years in the future, and also,
Mhm.
I just wanna put this out there, what do we know him for? What does everybody know him for? His crimes committed
Mhm.
during the World's Fair, or at least that's what I knew.
And it
So,
hasn't even started.
it hasn't even started, so I just want to pop that if little food for thought, just, like,
Mhm.
let it sit right on your shoulder, just and now let my sister continue. Also, I'm gonna do some Googling right now really quick.
The next day being Christmas, she had some friends, the Lawrences, who were, like, in the apartment down the hall that she was supposed to, or no, the Crows. And she was supposed to see them that morning, Christmas morning, and then they were going to wherever they were going and blah, blah, blah.
Mhm,
They waited and waited, but she and Julia and Pearl never showed up.
mhm.
Eventually, they leave, then when they come home, they ask Holmes about Julia, and he says, "Oh, she went to Davenport to see her family." So that's
There he is
again, like,
again. There
she
he is
just let, like,
goddamn
how are you
again.
gonna disprove it? How are you gonna disprove it?
Get on a buggy and horse wagon and go on up there to Davenport?
Exactly. The theory is that Chappelle,
Chappelle.
quote, unquote, "made" Julia into a skeleton for
Um,
the doctor's office or a medical school, and within a month there was a new family renting her apartment, and
mhm.
they testified that all of Pearl's clothes and all of their dishes and all of their belongings were still in the apartment when they rented it. It's also believed that he killed Pearl that night, and
I
she would have
know,
been 8
little
or 9
baby
years old.
Pearl. So this is where I want to pipe in and just say, as we as we look at this story and as we talk about who he was, and again, I'm saving my what I have to say for the end. This is before the Chicago's Fair,
Mhm,
and his what he does, it's diabolical, it's
mhm.
horrible, but it's not sensational. Does that make sense? Like,
It's not yet. It
I
will be.
feel like we give him this
Oh, it's
America's
coming.
first serial killer.
Mm,
Okay, I'm glad that
it's
you
coming.
feel okay, I can't wait to see what you
I'll
found
tell
because
you,
I was very, like,
underwhelmed.
underwhelmed and turned
Mhm.
off, and I don't wanna say that, like, turned off is such a gross way to describe it. I just think that we gave this guy so much more fucking credit than he ever fucking deserved.
100%, and at the end part, you'll see
And
why.
he just destroyed this family and this poor
Yep.
little baby girl whose dad wanted her.
Mhm.
And he didn't he's just, "Yeah, I'll take my kid," and
He's
this
just floating
fucking
off somewhere in
asshole.
the North
Right.
Side wondering what about his family.
Okay.
So, Benjamin Pitzel,
Mhm.
he was the guy who was a carpenter.
Yes, I remember
He
him.
was an alcoholic.
Great.
He was known to be an assistant to Holmes, and Holmes bailed him out of some situation, so he had some leverage over this man.
Mhm.
At some point, he sends him to the 1800s version of rehab in Dwight, Illinois.
What does that even mean? Oh my
Literally,
god, was it the Oak Forest Hospital that we talked about?
something like that. So
Perfect.
he goes to Dwight and he gets these treatments. They're like gold
Electric shock
solution.
therapy.
N- It was IV, okay? It was some sort of injection of gold something under their skin
I
that
challenged
made
that.
them not want alcohol
I
anymore.
challenged that. It was Goldschlager. And you know
Sure,
what? You can put it in the veins, you still want alcohol.
just saying.
I challenge that.
So he's there, and while he's there, he meets a beautiful young girl named Emmeline, I'm gonna say Sigrand,
Sure.
who was working as a stenographer,
There's
so
that
I
word
think that's a
again.
secretary,
We're gonna look it up.
for one of the doctors there. She was 21 years old. Well, he comes back to Chicago after his treatment's all completed, tells Holmes all about how beautiful she is, blah, blah, blah. Holmes offers her a job at twice the salary in Chicago doing the same work for him, being his secretary.
So a
She comes
stenographer in hang on, I'm just gonna verify this because a stenographer was a court
Mhm.
reporter, but in
Yes.
1880, it was just a skilled professional who used
There you go.
shorthand. Do you know what
There you
shorthand
go.
is?
It's
Have you ever seen shorthand, like real shorthand?
only medical shorthand.
I worked with a woman who in the
Who knew the real
1990s
deal?
who had a actual like there's a notepad that's
Mhm.
designed for stenographers. It's you
Mhm.
flip it so it's either right or lefties. There's a line down the middle and stenographers like she showed me her shorthand and I was like, "I'm sorry, what the fuck did you just It's dots and lines.
Yeah,
It's like Morse code on paper."
I love it.
Was what it looked like, and she's like, "Oh, it's just my shorthand for when I take notes in a meeting," and I'm
Mhm.
like, "Because they didn't have what
Yep.
I used when I was first a secretary before administrative assistants were out, and that was the, dictation.
Yep. I know.
Dictation. I had a headphones,
So,
and I fucking pushed that button.
Holmes gets her to come to Chicago. She brings with her $800 in savings, which he eventually swindles
Ooh,
away
we
from
are
her.
gonna look $800 up right now.
And then he, as he does, got her to agree to marry him. And then a
Mhm.
few months later, she's gone.
No.
So Emmeline, when she went missing, gave a small gift to
Ooh, that
this
was a
is
lot of
her
money.
what was 800 bucks?
25,000.
Holy shit.
Yeah, she had $25,000.
That's a lot of money.
Was it in 8 bills? Was
Damn.
it like in 8 like, I imagine
In
25,000.
$2 bills. In
Oh,
$2 bills.
no, not it was so many $2
Too
bills.
many too so many $2 and I
Shit.
bet some of the dollars were quarters. They were like
Shit.
coins.
Do you know
It
what
was a
people
bag of
give me?
coins.
Like, I have dollars that are Eric's like, "What are these fucking coins?" And I'm like, "Those are dollars, dum dum.
Yeah.
Don't touch them." I'm like, "Don't touch
Don't
them."
touch them.
I have a $10 bill from 1963 that I refuse to spend.
I
It's
would
gonna
too.
be
I
worth
think
money.
that's
More
valid.
than $10 anyways.
So she goes to see her friend, Mrs. Lawrence, who's in the apartment down the hall, tells her she's going to Indiana to visit family for the holidays.
There it is
But
again.
Mrs. Lawrence is suspicious because she leaves and she never says goodbye. Like she comes by, she gives her a little present. She's like, "Yeah, I'm going to go here, do this. I'll come see you tomorrow before I leave." And then she doesn't stop by. So Mrs. Lawrence is really suspicious. She presses Holmes about it. Holmes tells her Emmeline married another man and left him. And that but her family is never notified of this wedding. No one's ever invited to this wedding. Like this was his excuse for why she left. The day after Mrs. Lawrence last saw Emmeline leaving the building or like saw her alive,
Mhm.
Holmes's associate, I'm saying that with my little rabbit ears quotes, were and an associate were locked in Holmes's office all day, and later a large trunk was carried out. This would have been January 2nd. A few weeks after Emmeline disappears, the LaSalle Medical College receives a new skeleton.
I want it noted that you had January 2nd, 1893. So again, still before the World's Fair. Okay.
Yes,
That's all I
because
wanna
he's
say,
still building
and
the thing.
I am gonna build this up for a hopefully very anticlimactic point because everything is resting on this goddamn building.
All right. So
Okay.
here's the bad part.
Okay.
So fast forward a little when all this stuff comes out and he's caught.
Oh.
The police searched the castle and there was a
Gross.
footprint found on the wall of the vault. This room that he designed where he would fill it with
Mhm.
gas and suffocate
Yes,
people.
I heard about that.
The theory was that Holmes poured an acid solution on the floor of the vault in order to make the oxygen dissipate faster.
Mhm.
And Emmeline, he locks her in the vault.
Okay.
She was at some point, maybe she was barefoot when she went in. Maybe her shoes came off because she was using them to like bang on the wall. Who knows?
Mhm.
But she was walking in her bare feet on this acid.
Mhm.
When she was trying to force the door open, when she was really panicking, she
Okay.
was on the floor, like back braced against the wall, like
Mhm.
kicking the door.
I'm there.
And because of the acid, it made a permanent, perfect footprint on the
Okay.
wall.
Okay.
That's the bad part.
Yeah, but we don't know that that's
She died in
hers.
there. That's what they surmise. Her father continues to write asking about his daughter. Holmes replies that she left him in December and married someone else. The father continues to write letters for years. Have
Can
you
I
heard
tell
anything?
you who this guy is fucking reminding me of?
Who?
Goddamn Drew Peterson.
A little bit, right?
She left me for another man. She
Mhm.
went to marry someone else. She went back to her family. Like, seriously, dude, who the fuck? But at the time, again, we can't beat this bush any harder. I said
Mhm.
beat a bush
Yeah, you did.
because we didn't have, how could you check?
You
If
couldn't
they didn't
unless you
go to their,
physically went
yes,
there.
if they didn't go home to their family and they weren't where they said they were, and the last person that saw them alive is like, I don't know, she said she was going back to her family. In 1883 or 92, what
Mhm.
were you doing? You're not sending a fax. You're not
Mm-mm.
sending an email.
It's a letter or a physical
You
visit.
might have some pictures every once in a while, but think of the whole wide world.
Do you know how common it must have been for people to just never be seen again back then?
Hello? That's how I think he got the number that he's got.
They just never, like, gone.
Sis,
Sis.
the research that I did that made me so very angry with the story was that there were the number that were confirmed, the
Mhm.
number that was unconfirmed, the number that he confessed to, and then the number
Mhm.
that they estimate. And I'm like,
Mhm.
there this is speculation.
A lot of it.
This is 100% speculation just because people stayed there and were never seen from again. And
Mhm.
because we know that he killed people.
Mhm.
I okay.
So now we're up
We
to
yes, we are up to 1
February
hour and 6
1893.
minutes. Mhm.
So February 1893, we are a month after. Go ahead.
Are you at Minnie and Anna?
Yes.
Do you wanna pause or do you wanna continue? Because 'Cause we're at an hour and 6 minutes.
So we can make this a two-parter,
I think it's gonna have to be,
and then we
because
can
I
come
still
back.
haven't even given you my goddamn point of view on this, and I've been hanging on to it. I've been fucking hanging on to it. I've been choking back.
All right.
Okay, so
Don't don't stay at the murder castle for your
oh
Airbnb.
god. Ugh. You know what? I'm not even come on, George, let's go. If George was here right now, I would pick him up by his little tiny body, and I'd be like, "Come on, George, let's go." And he would fucking move his head, and he'd be like, "We're out of here.
All
We're
right,
out
so
of
we're
here."
leaving off with Emmeline, and we're gonna pick up with Minnie and Anna Williams on Thursday. How we do this is we drop Monday the first part, and then we drop on Thursday. You get the second part. You don't have to wait a whole week for the finish.
We would never do
So
that to you.
enjoy your story. Read the book. It's really awesome, and then we'll see you
In a
back.
couple days. We'll see you in a
Uh
couple
huh.
days, guys and
Okay. Love you.
gals and
Bye.
everybody in between. Bye. All right.
Executive produced by me, Marie Abenante, and my sister, Lisa Linsner.
Music by John Bartman, track Shooter on the Roof. Cover art by the talented and beautiful Alexis Guerrero.
And all of this is possible editing and recording using Riverside.
Thanks for listening, everyone.
Bye.